Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of the Artistly Workshop. Rob here with today's video looking at this little cute finish the dragon drawing that I posted and got quite a bit of action in the Facebook group. Somebody asked me to do a video on how I got this result, so that is what I'm doing. I have to say, starting from the top, that this wasn't an easy project, as easy as it seems like it should be. There are a lot of variables involved as far as getting a dotted line, as far as getting a symmetrical dragon, etc., and dividing it right down the middle. So it took some manual work, and I'm going to explain how I did that. I did it using Photoshop, but I think you could probably do it in Affinity or Canva or wherever you choose to work. I'm just more fluent here. So let's get right into it. First thing we do, we have three separate components to this project. We have the dragon itself, we have the grid, and then we have the dotted line. And getting all three of them in an image is not super easy. I'm going to go back to my very long conversation with ChatGPT, which started out here. Prompt for a finish the drawing children's page of a moderately detailed dragon, so the image would show half and encourage the child to finish. So then we started this long conversation of tweaking, I asked what these kind of activities actually help with so I'd have a better idea of how to market it. And then we went back and forth trying to get good results that worked. You can see even ChatGPT had issues getting good images. There's a good one. But we want to do this in Artistly as much as possible, so we're going to get the prompt from ChatGPT. I'm going to find my most recent ones. Let's get the newer one. Copy it. And let's go into our favorite, most accurate tool here in Artistly, Seamless Patterns. Paste that prompt. Generate image. This goes quick, so we'll just hang out and chat while it works. How's your day going? Alright, so as you can see with the image from Seamless Patterns V2, it did a pretty good job. I'm going to actually, because when you click regenerate it takes you back to a blank prompt with this tool, I'm going to copy the whole thing, hit regenerate, paste it in again, and try it again, and we'll see what we get this time. So this time we got worse results with two dotted lines and better results with the division, but so there is some trial and error. You know, you could do this 100 times and maybe never get one that's perfect. So there are better ways to do this than endless regeneration, but it does require the use of additional tools. So I'm just not digging this, and I'm going to show you if we go into one of the other tools, like say just create from prompt, do a high quality 3/4, and then while that's going, let's go to what's another one? Let's do Artistic Designer V2. Paste our prompt, pick 3/4. In fact, let's do 4 variations on this one. I'm going to click generate and then put you on pause for a second. So you can see here we're not getting really any kind of good results. The dragon's not symmetrical. It's not really facing forward. I even went to the storybook creator and tried to see what that would give me, and it gave me this. Not good. So really, you have two choices. You can go with Seamless Patterns, or you can have ChatGPT generate. I'm going to say generate the image in 3:4 ratio, and please ask nicely. While that's doing its thing, back to Artistly. And so I'm going to just get rid of these. They're junk. And So you can see I have some grids in here. The grids are the next thing that Artistly has a real hard time with. Here's what ChatGPT gave, but it's not. Again, I think this dotted line should be right on the grid, should be right on the line, just for easier. But actually that works out pretty nice. So, if you just wanted to keep that, go ahead and download it. And then let's navigate over to Artistly. Let's bring our image in using AI Design Assistant's text editor. This was it. Pick a 3:4 ratio. I guess you have to edit a prompt. Change nothing. Whoops. Change nothing. All right. So now we have our image in Artistly. It's in 3:4 ratio. It looks pretty nice as far as drawing, trying to, draw symmetrically, going along with the grid and whatnot. It doesn't have any text on it, so let's try and add a little text. I'm going to go to Design Assistant's text editor, choose from library. Let's pick our image, say 3:4, and say add title in chunky black font. Finish the drawing. And we'll see what that does. Here's our result. Not perfect because obviously it's taking up too much space. Let me see here. So I'm going to copy that prompt. I'm going to try one more time with this. Let's go to text editor. Choose our image, pick our ratio, and I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to say, let's see if it will do this. Lower dragon image, add title above, let's say a title above. Let's see, we'll just see what that does. All right, so that did not what we want it to do by completing the image. I like the font. So let's just take our image into the Advanced Designer, lower it a little bit, and add our own text. So we'll go over here, click text, add a heading. Drawing. Let's expand our text box. Looks like it wants to do these on separate lines, so let's, oh, wow, I guess we need to make it maybe a little smaller. There we go. Well, all right, we'll do it your way. All right, let's align center first of all, and let's pick a font we like. How about bangers? No, you got to select your text. Bangers, finish the drawing. That's fine. Make it bigger. Nice even number, 72. All right, here we go. Finish the drawing. Here's our drawing. Let us export it as a PNG, and then we'll open it back in Artistly. We will go to Design Assistants, Photo Editor, browse for our file. It was this one. Set it to 3:4. Change nothing. Generate and pause. Okay, so not thrilled with what we got here from simple photo editor and change nothing. It changed everything, like the knopping and the placement and everything. So we are going to just get rid of this one because it stinks. And let's try Design Assistants. Let's try Text Editor. Find our image, set it 3:4, and say no changes. Again, no changes did not work. It made plenty of changes. So none of the tools here in Artistly are working. I even tried Storybook Illustrator and to see what that would do. It gave me this. So it's a bit frustrating. All I want to do is adjust my image to a new aspect ratio. Let's try Photo Editor with some more specific instructions. 3:4. Leave image exactly as is, only change dimensions. Let's see what that does. All right, so this is one of those times when nothing seems to be working. So we're going to choose a different method. Hang on one second. I'm going to delete all the garbage here. And I'm going to go back to trying to add the text using one of these tools here. So let's go back to Design Assistants. Let's do Photo Editor. Let's choose this. Where was our nice one? I think I have to upload it. No, it's this one, right? Set the 3:4. Add text at top. Finish the drawing. Now I have to say, I would have been done like 15 minutes ago, just popped it into Photoshop and added the title, rather than trying to fuss with all this different junk and trying to get Artistly to do something it doesn't want to do. Because it's like a toddler, you know, the more you try to coax it, the more you push it, the more fits it throws and the more tantrums it has. So it's now that's not too bad actually, other than the text going over the dotted line a little bit. I wonder if I could raise the text a little bit using maybe, let's try the text editor again. And say, let's make sure, let's say raise text at top. That's all. Let's say higher. Let's see what it gives us. Okay, so it did it. It raised the text, or at least it removed the dots. So it did ultimately what we wanted it to, and we end up with an image that we can deal with. He looks a little maybe sick, like he's come down with something, but you know, you can always edit that out. So here you have all the spellings right, a 3:4 image in the right dimensions that you can add to your storybook. You can use one of a couple of methods that I've laid out using either a dummy book or the coloring book hack to make a book using this design. And I'm going to just show you real quick for those of you. So we ended up getting what we wanted just using Artistly with a lot of trial and error. But I'm going to show you, if that's just too much trouble and you have other tools available to you, let us try again. I'm going to download this cute little guy. I'm going to download this cute little grid. And I am going to generate a dotted line. So I'm going to go to Design Assistants. No, I'm going to go to here, Seamless Patterns, because it does what you want. And this is what I had my dotted line prompt here in Claude. So let's copy that, put it into Seamless Patterns. and generate. Perfect. We got our dotted line. We're going to download that. We're going to open these all up in Photoshop. All right. The grid that I had opened before for this project was actually generated using seamless, or no, not seamless patterns, was actually generated using, I think, Artistic Designer or one of the other Artistly tools. And you can see the boxes aren't square. So I'm going to actually go back to ChatGPT and ask it for, let's see, for just the prompt for the gray line grid, please. All right, so I'm going to copy that prompt into, let's just get out of here, into Artistly's seamless patterns. I may have to get rid of that aspect ratio instruction since it's going to make it square, and that might, let's see, no, that's not too bad. I think we can use that. All right, so I'm going to download that and open it up in Photoshop. Okay, back here we are in Photoshop with our dotted line, our dragon, and our grid. So we're going to use the grid as the base of our image. I'm going to adjust it a little bit. I'm going to hit Control L to get levels. I'm going to try and darken those lines up a little bit by adjusting these sliders. If you adjust the white slider, it makes the grays disappear. So we're going to just try and make those a little more prominent. Click OK. Then we will, hitting V and Shift while we drag and drop, that will place it directly into the center of the canvas. You can see we've got the grid beneath. So now what I'm going to do, there's a few ways we can do this. The easiest way we can do this is just to go and put this layer into multiply blend mode. I don't know if Affinity does that. I don't know if Canva does that, but Photoshop does. And so you change the blend mode to multiply, and it turns all the white transparent. All right, so here we've got the dragon on the grid. Now we need our dotted line. So I will unpin that. Again, hit V for the move tool. Hit Shift to make it placed directly in the center of our document. Drag and drop and let go. I'll close this one out. Don't need it no more. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with this. Take it from normal mode, put it into multiply mode. Now we have our dotted line, our grid, and our dragon. So next thing we need to do is we need to get rid of half of the dragon. So on the dragon layer with the marquee tool, which we'll hit M for marquee tool, go outside, and I'm going to leave it just a little off so you can see how to fix this if you're not quite right. We're going to Control plus to zoom in. You can see our selection with the marching ants. Then I'm going to go over here to select and hit transform selection. Now this allows me to change my selection exactly how I want it. So I'm going to take that line, put it right in the middle there, hit the check mark or enter to lock that in. So now we have that perfectly selected. What we can do is, actually, I'm just going to hit the erase key. I'm going to hit delete. Boom. There you go. Done deal. All right, hit Control D to deselect. We have our little dragon. We have our grid. We need our dotted line. So let's go back to this layer here, turn it back on. And when I hit Control plus to zoom in, you can see the dotted line is pretty much right there on the center. I mean, if I hit V and try to nudge it, nothing gets it any closer. So that's about as good as we're going to get. I think that's pretty nice. So we have to get this image back into Artistly now and have it at the proper 3:4 ratio. I'm going to create a new document. We're going to say File, New, and I have an Artistly template already set up. So I'm going to say Artistly 3:4, click OK, and then I'm going to, in our little dragon document, I'm going to select the uppermost layer, hit Shift, Control, Alt, and E, and that's going to merge everything to a top layer. Then I'm going to click and drag that layer into this new document that is the correct size. Go back to our document. We have our layer that's got our little dragon, and let's actually click the little dragon layer and the background layer. Make sure the Move tool is selected, and then click Align Vertical Centers. And then I think I'll just add a little bit of text. Click the T tool or hit T for text. That's the shortcut. I always recommend learning all the shortcuts for whatever software you're using. Saves you a ton of time. Alright, so let's start out with a font. And we'll put it all caps and say finish. Well, it's way too big, so Control A to select all. Take it down to about 30. Take it down to about 18. Say finish. Drawing! Exclamation point. Commit that. Well, let's pick a good font first. You don't need to sit here while I do that. I'm going to go hunt one down. Okay, I found a pretty simple basic font called Delio that I'm going to use. I don't like all the spacing between the letters, so I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. This is the kerning, auto kerning. It just kind of brings in, that's a little better. Still not crazy about here between the A and this is a monotype, monospace font. So in Photoshop, what you need to do if you see too much kerning here is put your cursor between, hit the Alt key, and use the arrow, the forward and backward arrows to increase or decrease space. So you can see I did that there. I'm going to do a little bit here just so it looks a little nicer. Maybe a little bit here between the T and the H with the Alt key selected or pressed and the left arrow key. And that looks pretty good. All right, so we'll commit that. Select the text layer and the background layer. Well, let's select all the layers. Hit V for the Move tool. And select Align Horizontal Centers. That puts everything into alignment. We have our drawing, we have our page. I'm going to save it as a JPEG, and then we'll bring it into Artistly. Okay, so back here in Artistly for that little image that we just finished making that page, let's go to Design Assistance, Text Editor, browse for that file. And we just got to try and tell it to do nothing and hope that it works. I'm going to say 3:4. Let's say make no changes whatsoever. Make it sound severe. All right. So here we have it. Seems like it did what we needed it to do without making any changes. And now you have a nice finish the drawing page with a grid that you can add to your activity book. And let me just show you if I have some storybook images. Here we go. This is done in 3:4. So I'm going to just say this is with the kind of hack or the process of creating a dummy book for your custom books. I'm going to try and swap that story image with the one we just made. So now this activity page is part of your book. Now if you generated 10 or 20 different activities, you would swap story image with a dummy book in the same way to create your book. That was in another video I did. This one was pretty much just about making these pages. Hopefully it helped. I know it was kind of all over the place. I don't work from a script. And AI is so unpredictable. Um, Let me just go back to showing a benefit of using this method right here, with Photoshop or whatever, because now that we have this image of our half dragon, I'm going to hit Control T to transform it, holding down Shift to keep the dimensions constrained, right? Hit enter to commit that. Now I'm going to go to place, and I'm going to get our original little guy, and he comes in as a smart object. I'm going to hit shift and constrain his proportions, put him down here. So now you have a visual guide of what your dragon, should look like on the other side. If you want that, you can make it a little smaller so it's just more of a guide. you know, so you can customize it and kind of do whatever you want. Save it out as that 3:4 ratio, and then come back to Artistly, import it. I used text editor, I think, and just said make no changes whatsoever. It brought the images in, and then you can swap it out like that. I know it got a little long. It got a little confusing. I hope this helps. If not, leave comments if you have questions, whatever. It's a lot easier, honestly, to do this without the grid. The grid and the dotted line, well, the dotted line not even so much, but the grid is what makes it complicated. So, anyways, hope that helps. Leave questions, comments, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and thanks for viewing. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.